All right, Shalom. Call Yahweh Hashem Yahushua. Shalom to the apostles and elders and all the other teachers and the elect. Now, I just happened to come across this morning. I was checking out some news and stuff, and it was talking about women holding top positions in the CIA. So you know it's straight wickedness going on. I'm gonna go into some scriptures that go in on this subject, because the Most High ultimately He set it up like this. Like women be like, "Oh, I'm independent. I don't need no man," and all that stuff. He set it up like that, just so He can humble them and show them who supposed to be leading on the earth, the righteous rulers of the earth, not these elites, because these elites got it to the point where there's so much extra room and freedom, ultimately for the women to go do so much stuff and have access to all type of things, and then come against the men like, without no judgment, no repercussions or nothing, and meanwhile they be laughing to the bank. So I'm going to this one scripture right here in the book of Ecclesiastes. Chapter 7, verse 26, it says, "And I found more bitter than death the woman whose heart is snares and nets, and her hands as bands. Whoso pleaseth Yahweh shall escape from her, but the sinner shall be taken by her." So if you come across one of these wicked-ass women and they end up getting one up on you or whatever and trapping you up or whatever, you might want to, fellas, re-examine your ways and if you're pleasing the Most High or not. Because I've been in plenty of situations personally where I come across women and they'll play that little innocent role, like, "Oh, she seems like she a decent woman." Some of them might have their hair around, wearing modest apparel and stuff like that. But then that demon come out of them. But the Most High let me see that and remove me from those situations, so I don't end up with no ailments, or end up with no baby on child support, or some little nonsense like that. Just from making sure I follow, the commandments that the Most High set up. And for us to carry ourselves like kings and priests, because that's what we are. And see, our women of our nation, they forgot that. And even the men forgot that, so they carry themselves in a silly manner. So, a lot of women don't show respect. And me speaking on this, don't get it twisted. Like I said in previous videos, I definitely meet pretty and plenty women. But I already know what they're about. Now I'm going to read this other verse right here in the book of Ecclesiastes, and this is what the scripture says. And that's what you should do when you walk in the living life. Compare what's going on around you to the scriptures, because the answer's in there. You just got to find them. This is the book of Ecclesiastes, chapter 7, verse 28. But then I'm going to start at 27 and say, "Behold, this have I found," saith the preacher, "count one by one, to find out the account, which yet my soul seeketh, but I found not. It said, one man among 1,000 have I found, but a woman among all those have I not found. Lo, this only have I found, that Yahweh have made man upright, but they have sought out many inventions." And they definitely have. Because that's why in this scripture in the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 4, it says, "Unto you, O men, I call, and my voice is to the sons of men. O ye simple, understand wisdom, and ye fools, be you of understanding heart." And it's the reason why the Most High called to the men. Now, you got some sincere sisters, and if a sincere woman or whatever come across this video or whatever, don't get offended. Just examine your ways. And when you read the book of Proverbs, the last chapter 31, it goes in on being a virtuous woman. Now, can you do all these things perfectly? No, because nobody can do none of these things perfectly right now. But hey, practice makes perfect, and you can practice on rehearsing certain acts. So I'm gonna let this video play, and I'm gonna pull out some more scriptures, because there's some serious stuff that's happening right now.
They are now all filled by women for the first time in the agency's history. This after Cynthia Rapp was named the CIA's top analyst, and One America's Bobby Dupree has more.
CIA Director Gina Haspel appears to have initiated a wave of female appointments for top positions at the CIA. Last year, she made history as she was sworn in as the new director of the agency. She later honored the trailblazers in the CIA who preceded her.
I would be remiss if I did not also note the tremendous pride I take in being the first woman to serve as director. I would not be standing before you today if not for the remarkable courage and dedication displayed by generations of OSS and agency women in roles both large and small who challenged stereotypes, broke down barriers, and opened doors for the rest of us.
After assuming the job, Haskell quickly got to work forming what some have dubbed a sisterhood of spies. She named Courtney Simmons Elwood as the agency's general counsel.
These devils was getting wicked. Oh, hey, look who else you got in the midst. I'm gonna read this one scripture right here real quick. Because these devils, they real cunning and crafty, and they give all this liberty just for shit like this. Now it says in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 22, it says, "How long wilt thou go about, and without backsliding daughter? For the Lord Yahweh have created a new thing in the earth. A woman shall compass a man." Now, these shits we talking about the independent and all that. It ain't by your own will. See, the Most High set it up just so he can humble you in these times. I'm gonna let this play some more. Y'all go into some more scriptures real quick.
As well as Sonia Holt as Director of Diversity. She's an over 30-year veteran of the agency, but now
30 years?
all of the CIA's top 3 directors for operations, analysis, and science and technology are headed by women. Haskell has recently appointed Cynthia Rapp as the agency's Deputy Director for Analysis. Rapp is said to be a Middle East expert and has previously served as the agency's Director of Public Affairs and Deputy Executive Director. She also oversaw the creation of the President's Daily Briefing while working at the Office of the Director of National Intelligence. According to reports, her mother, father, and husband all worked within the agency. And in early December, Elizabeth Kimber was announced as the Deputy Director for Operations. She's the first woman ever to serve in the role, which has been filled by men for over 70 years. Reports claim she's worked with Russia and terrorism operations in the CIA. Rapp and Kimber now join Don Meyerowitz, the current Deputy Director for Science and Technology.
What we provide is that ability to make best use of the brain power represented by our analytic community so that we can do a better job of representing the options and
All right,
likelihoods.
that's enough of this shit. I ain't gonna play that much more. I was just wanna the main topic because this is who I seen in the forefront. Now, I'm quite sure she done her homework and her research and know that these damn devils, these the ones that push all them guns, drugs, whatever in our communities, in our people communities, and then turn around, build a prison system, and say, oh, we have a war on drugs, a war on crime. When these devils the ones setting the shit up. That's why you got projects. It's a project by these devils. That's what they create. All type of stuff. So, you know, our people, they don't really study and research certain stuff and realize, like, dang, this a trap. But they know it's a trap, because that's why you have trap music. You got niggas be like, oh, I'm in the trap. And I know about this stuff, because I've been in that element before. And I realized what the hell was really going on. So, you know, now I'll be on something different. But that's through the spirit of the Most High, because I could have fell a victim in numerous situations. But I'm going to read some more scriptures too. It's in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 31, verse 27. It said, "Behold, the days come, saith the Lord Yahweh, that I will sow the house of Israel and the house of Judah with the seed of man and with the seed of beast." They ain't say with the egg of Eve or whoever. They say with the seed of man. And that's how lineage is determined when you look into the book of like Numbers and Chronicles and different books like that. That's why I always mention the father. Of course, it mentions certain women because they did certain significant stuff amongst those men. But ultimately, they go back to the men, ruling and leading. It's an order. You got Yahweh, you got his son, Yahweh Shah. You got the man, then the woman, then the kids. That's the order. But see, Esau, even these devils, they set it up so they can break up the households. That's why you have a lot of adopted kids. You have a lot of kids that's wilding out in school because their parents split up, a lot of divorces going on. Just all type of stuff. Just because of these secret little operations they do. So basically, she a traitor. If we really want to look at it. For going to work amongst these devils. And I'm quite sure she know hella shit that they be doing. And keep her mouth closed about it. But maybe go into some more scriptures. I ain't gonna speak too much on this topic. I just want to go on some more scriptures and I'm gonna read another story out of the book of Esther too, and I'm gonna close this out. Lord's willing, something else might pop up in my mind and hit me, and I might talk about it. But it says, book of Isaiah, chapter 32, verse 2, it says, and a man shall be as a hiding place from the wind, and a covert from the tempest, as rivers of water in a dry place, as a shadow of a great rock, in a weary land. And the eyes of them that see shall not be dim, and the ears of them that hear shall hearken. The heart also of the rash shall understand knowledge, because people be very rash when it comes to understanding and explaining this type of stuff, and talking about man leading and how society is completely out of order. A lot of stuff out of order. It say, and the tongue and the stammers shall be ready to speak plainly. And a lot of these women be stammers. Because I come across a lot of them. They always go, you ain't my daddy, you can't tell me what to do. All this different shit. But, hey, the way the society going, if people ain't paying attention, this government shutdown is going to cause a lot of other shit too. A lot of stuff going to get shifted around. Ultimately, that's the Most High putting the spirit on these politicians and all these different governors and senators and these Democrats, these Republicans. He putting the spirit on them to do all this different stuff. To be at odds with each other. So, let me go into the other scripture real quick in the book of Esther. This is the book of Esther, chapter 1. Let me start at verse 10. It says, on the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bitha, and Abatha, Zethar, and Carcass, the 7 chamberlains, that served in the presence of Ahasuerus, the king. It says in verse 11, it says to bring Vashti the queen before the king with the crown royal, to shew the people and the princess her beauty, for she was fair to look on, so she evidently was real fine. And this woman right here, I'm showing, she fine too, but I know she wicked as hell. She dealing with them agents and the CIA shit. She wicked as fuck. I already know how they get out. It says in verse 12, it say, but the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore was the king very wroth. His anger burned in him. And I would have been heated too. Tell your woman, like, hey, come here. And she'd be like, oh, nah, I don't feel like it. A lot of that shit go on now. This is the same shit that be going on. And it says in verse 13, it says, then the king, and see this, how men should carry themselves like a king. This is where we come from. All that sipping and that pussy nigga shit. That shit, I know from experience. It don't go down right. Trying to be all baby and all that. No, hell no. Chicks don't respect that shit for real. They want you to be rough. They want you to be a man. They want you to be solid, stern. They might talk shit. But then next thing you know, they be sliding up under you, trying to smell your cologne and shit. It says, then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner toward all that knew the law and judgment. And these sat next unto him was Karshina, Shethar, Mata, Tarshish, Maris, Marez, Marshina, and Mamukan, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which sat the first in the kingdom. He said, what shall we do unto the queen Vashti, according to the law, because she have not performed the commandment of a king? Ahasuerus, I might be saying that name wrong, so it's lucky if I am. And it says, by the chamberlains. It says in verse 16, and Mamukan answered before the king and the princess, Vashti the queen have not done wrong to the king only, but also to the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king Ahasuerus. It says, for this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes, and it shall be reported. The king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not, which that stuff go on today. That's why they show a lot of that stuff like on Love and Hip Hop and Black Ink and all these different shows, the women disrespecting their men. So other women see that shit that ain't on TV, and they do the same shit at home. But this is what the king did. So it says, likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. It said, if it please the king, let there go a royal commandment for him, and let it be written among the laws of Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. So this is what was going on. So I'm going to read some more to it. It says, and when the king's decree which he shall make shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give their husbands honor, both to great and small. Because you have some women, you tell them, like, I'm a king, they'll laugh at you. Or if you tell them I'm a prince, they'll laugh at you. Like, oh, you ain't no king, you ain't no prince, you ain't no priest, and they'll laugh and scoff at that shit. So this king makes sure this decree went out to both great and small. It says, and the saying pleased the king and the princes, and the king did according to the word of Memucan. And Memucan is a wise man for doing this. It says, for he sent letters unto all the king's provinces, and to every province according to the writing thereof, to every people after their language, that every man shall bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. After these things, this is in chapter 2 now, it says, after these things, when the wrath of the king Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done, and what was decreed against her. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be fair young virgins sought for the king. So she got replaced, basically. And that happens a lot with real men. Because you had these chicks that go around like, oh, men just let go and leave. No, you weren't doing what you were supposed to do. A real man ain't finna just lay down with no woman or whatever and push her away. What man in his right mind gonna do some shit like that? That's pushing away some permanent box, first of all. But if a chick being wicked, of course a man gonna push her away. You can kick fucking rocks and keep it moving. Now me personally, I would rather have a virgin anyway. So I'm gonna go into another scripture real quick. Because, you know, some people might hear this and get offended. And I'm going to end this on this. It's in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 23, verse 29. It says, is not my word like as a fire, saith Yahweh, and like a hammer that breaketh the rock in pieces? And that's how people be feeling, like they got broken pieces when they hear the truth. So call all Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, and Shalom to all the elect and the apostles and the elders and all the other teachers. And Lord's willing, he was edified. And if he was offended, examine yourself.